what's been going on?
I just had a journey. I was in Los Angeles, and for some reason, Los Angeles was like a forest with a giant dry riverbed running through it. And in the reality that I was in, this riverbed ran straight down to Guadalajara, because of course Guadalajara was in California in this case. And my brother and I were walking in the dry riverbed, but there was news reports saying that the water was going to flood the riverbed, and we had to like climb up some cliffs and stuff like that to get away from this giant gush of water.
Did you get out?
I don't remember.
Did you see the water?
I don't remember. What about you? What happened to you lately?
I've been meeting a lot of old friends lately.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I know they're not here. I'm too far away.
Yeah.
But you just got. I had a lot of old friends just popping in, you know, giving me high fives, telling me I'm on track.
Okay.
Things are good. Few weird calls, but no, pretty normal week, normal stuff.
Sounds nice and positive.
Thinking of printing money. That happened. I had that thought on the bus on the way over. I might actually do it too.
You're going to start counterfeiting.
Well, I call it QEP.
The quantitative easing paradox.
Personal.
Okay. Personal quantitative easing. Printing your own money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's... it occurred to me that it's not a bad thing.
Mm.
That as long as everyone got it, and I can only really control my reality, so as long as I got it, then it's cool.
Well, you know, there's these things like they have in the United States. There are places that make their own currency, like locally, like Mountain Hours is one of them, I think. And it's kind of like what your idea is. They print their own currency, and it's more or less like they have a bunch of coupons. Like just, you know, when Pizza Hut prints a coupon, Pizza Hut accepts it. But in this case, all of the businesses, not just Pizza Hut, would accept it in that area.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever it takes to create business, to help. Well, business is just the trade of some kind of monetary control and product. I mean, there's been a lot of sales on lately, and I went and got a couple shirts, and they give you 20% back, but in this like a gift card, and I had to go buy. That's why I bought 2 shirts, because I got this gift card. And I had to go back and buy another shirt. And I thought, well, they're on sale. I may as well use it now. I ended up spending double the money. Well, it wasn't really a planned buy, but I bought 2 shirts. I didn't buy 1 shirt, so it works. Coupons, points. People who invented point systems, like loyalty rewards, that's as good as money. That is money. In
a limited sense of the word, yeah. What if you sold like premium coffee, and each cup had like a piece of 8 in the bottom, like a piece
of what?
A piece of 8, you don't know what a piece of 8 is. A piece of 8 is 1/8 of a Spanish dollar. So you could buy like a 1920 Mexican peso, cut it up into 8 pieces, and then slip that slip that into.
But the coin's got real value or real worth?
Well, it's got subjective value. It's got melt value.
Okay, well then
silver value.
That's what I was referring to. Yeah.
Yeah, but then that would cost. Let's see. Like a 1920 peso. It's like 0.72 troy ounces, I think, of silver. And so they're worth about 80 to 100 pesos. So if you gave them away,
that's good. That's good value.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you could give them away, but you'd have to charge like an extra 15 pesos for every cup. I'm not sure if
it's so delicious. I hope they remember that it's in there. Otherwise, I'm gonna have customers choking. That's not good for repeat business.
Yeah, but it's kind of like the old tradition where you put like a penny in Christmas cake, something like that.
Kind of like the Rosca.
Yeah. Yeah, like,
Except
you mean that cake, that weird ass cake that they have?
the big donut
Yeah.
that the family share on the Dia de los Reyes.
Yeah, I walked into the living room the other day, and my housemates were there with this weird looking cake with the jelly fruit or whatever it is on top.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Hey, good, come in, try a piece."
Give me the
And
knife.
Yeah, they gave me the knife, and then out come these two plastic figurines.
You're set up.
Yeah, apparently. And they're like, ah! And they start laughing and stuff. And I'm like, I don't want to eat this cake now. I don't want to eat the like plastic boys or whatever.
Okay, for those that don't know, it's on King's Day, the 6th of January. All Mexican families have a rosca, which is kind of like it's like a dry bread, big donut cake with fruit and like fruit type jellies on top.
Yeah, it's supposed to represent the three gifts from the three kings.
That's it. And what we do is there's little baby children, like a little boy figurine of plastic that's in, and there's usually a handful spread out in the cake. And as you cut it, you go around the table, family member, and cut a slice of this cake. And if you pull out the El Niño, it's your job to organize los tamales.
Yeah, so apparently I have to learn how to cook tamales so I can...
And that's like the 18th of February, that party?
Something like that.
I gotta have a check but this year I didn't. Every year that I've cut it, I've always had one. This year I haven't, so I don't have to worry about it. Whew, you got some work ahead of you.
Yeah. Apparently they're not so hard to make. Yeah. Should we run an intro?
Intro. Popular demand. We had a few questions come through. Just regarding, it was kind of difficult to plan how we're going to do this, but people wanted to know about densities. I think a lot of people have heard about different dimensions and things and sci-fi movies and all that, but densities, dimensions, is like, I think a lot of people assume they're the same thing. I came across them reading the book by, The Humble Message of One, the Ra material. In episode 1, I briefly mentioned that.
What's the book called again?
It's the Humble Message of One.
Okay.
Or it's also called the Ra material. The book it was produced in early 80s. It was a study group that were studying channeling of like either high consciousness beings, or I think in this case Ra is an entity from, I believe, Andromeda, the galaxy Andromeda, that they're able to channel. But it doesn't actually. The book does go into some detail on how to actually channel and how to organize the instrument, which is the person in the channeling situation. But I'm not going to go into that too much because.
So we could set up our own circle and try this experiment ourselves.
I'll have to read up on how to do it because there's a few things. I think it's the candles involved, and to check smoke or signal of interference. It's all metaphysical stuff. And I read it because the message of one is all in line with all human beings being one species, one family, brothers and sisters. Love being the ultimate source or the ultimate God's language. So. I read it just because I was interested in it was recommended to me, so I checked it out. It was actually, I could read it again. There's too much information in there, which is why I came across densities and felt like I needed to mention it a couple times. But I'm gonna give it a go in actually explaining what that is through examples, and we'll see how that comes out.
Yep.
Because this is just like it's too much. Okay, I think that the best way to start would be to understand perception perception of one. I think the famous study for the double slit experiment and what implications came from that, I think is important to understand when we're talking about perception. So please look this study up. I mean, I'm not going to explain any great detail or hopefully do justice, but it was an electron gun that was shooting single electrons at one slit in a wall. And what happened was they were measuring, or they were seeing what pattern the electrons were producing going through the slit to the wall behind. And as you can imagine, all the electrons were hitting the wall behind in a perfect slit, straight line.
Yep.
Then they furthered the study by introducing two slits, which is why it's called the double slit experiment. And they were doing the same thing, shooting electrons, but in this case, in the whole area, and seeing how they go through the slits and what pattern was made on the back. At first, the first time they did it, it produced exactly what they thought it would produce. And
like just a straight line, each electron appeared to travel in a straight line. Is that right?
Yes.
As if it's a particle.
Well, the outcome was two lines.
Yeah.
Where the electrons would travel through the slit and make two lines in the back wall.
The ones that made it through just kept going exactly where they were going.
Exactly. Yep. The electrons traveled in a straight line as if they were a particle. They redid the study, but this time they had a sensor of some kind measuring how they moved through the slits, or what was the rate of actually getting through the slit, or what happened.
I think how it works is when they put a sensor directly after the slit, then it would behave like a particle. But if they didn't have that sensor there, then it would behave like a wave.
Yes.
So the observation of the particle, or the wave particle, actually changed its nature. So this is like,
but it was a complete
the
surprise.
Uncertainty principle, where you can't observe the speed of something without changing its location, and you can't observe the location of something without changing its speed.
Yeah.
So you can never know both details, and this takes it to another level, where every time you look at something, you may actually be changing its nature.
Yes. you are interacting with your environment just by looking at it all the time. I mean, it was quite a big surprise to them. They didn't expect. They added the sensor in to check a variable in the experiment, but they ended up seeing two totally different painted walls by electrons, which meant just by adding the observing eye, it changed the experiment and opened up a whole new dimension of future studies.
Very scary ideas, because
it's so cool, but but why?
Well, because I think like Rupert Sheldrake and Bruce Lipton say stuff like, where with things like biology and physics and chemistry, all of these sciences, we're still kind of assuming a Newtonian view of the universe, but this changes that completely. The universe doesn't just operate by Newtonian principles. It does at some level, but not at every level. So who knows how biology really operates if we're starting with the assumption that waves can be particles and particles can be waves. Things change depending on how they're observed. Yeah, who knows what implications that leads to?
Yeah, well, it's whatever you want. It's whatever you been led or choose to believe.
Maybe.
I like the classic. If a tree falls down in the woods but there's no one there to see or hear it, does it make a noise?
Yeah,
that's a classic. What's the answer?
Well, it depends, because you're not really meant to answer it. It's just meant to pause conscious thought.
Yes.
But it's also interesting as a scientific question.
Well, I heard that question before I was aware of this study. And of course it makes a noise. The tree's got weight, it's going to fall over, it's going to make a bang, it's going to crush things. But then I came across this, and it's like, well, was there even a tree?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah, was there even a tree until you observe it? And that's like Schrodinger's cat experiment. You know Schrodinger's cat experiment?
No, which one's that?
So this is a thought experiment where you have it. You know, it sounds kind of cruel, but it's just it's just an idea. It's not something we're actually going to do. So you have a box, like a safe, and no sound or air can get in or out. So there's no way of seeing what's in the box. And in the box you have a cat with enough air supply to...
Yeah, now I get why it's cruel.
Yeah, and you have a piece of radioactive material that's completely random. It's completely unpredictable. You don't know if a particle is going to be released, like a piece of beta radiation is going to be released at any point in time. So I guess you call it a random number generator. It takes a sample to see if a particle is released or not. If a particle is released, then a gas is released in the safe and the cat dies. If a particle is not released, then the cat lives. Now, when you come to the box 10 minutes later, there is no earthly way of knowing if the cat is still alive or if it's dead. So the idea is that because of the potential, the cat is simultaneously alive and dead.
At the same time.
Yep. Until you open the safe, at which point the potentiality waveform collapses and the reality resolves.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's like receiving a meal with your steel cover over top. It's like, am I going to receive what I ordered or not? Until you open it, it could be everything in any menu, anything on the whole menu. Yeah. But then you open it and then you make it real at that point. That's the interaction of reality. There was also another study they did similar with a number generator, and it was just constantly, but it was generating either a 1 or a 0, and they had a participant firstly it's just a number generator. You generate 100 ones or zeros, you'd expect to have 50-50. But then when they added an observer, and even just asking them to think, do you want more ones or want more zeros? This had a significant effect on whether the number generator was producing ones or zeros. And prior to that, obviously it was producing randomly, and it continued to produce randomly, yet it was producing significantly. It was producing results significantly in line with whatever the person desired to see more of.
Right. Do you happen to know by what mechanism the random number generator was functioning? Like by radioactive material, by radio waves?
No, I think it was just a number generator on a computer. The experiment that I saw.
Ah, okay. That could be different again, because depending on the mechanism. If it's on a computer, it can actually be a pseudo number generator. The number you enter a seed, and the computer generates what appear to be random to us, but actually, whenever you have the same number as a seed, you can consistently produce those same numbers. So, depending on the experiment, these people can actually be altering the past. Depending on the mechanism for the random number generator.
Yes.
Yeah.
You'd have to run it again. I mean, the experiment that I saw...
We can try that. We can set up an experiment like that and see what our results are if you want.
That is a good idea.
Yeah, let's do it.
Homework.
Yeah.
No, but the experiment was... they stated that it was a good control. I mean, obviously they ran it a few times prior to desiring a 0 or a 1 more so. But it's documented. Like it's a significant study. So we now get that the observer and the participant in the reality completely changes the reality. That's the hypothesis of these studies, right? Linking this to normal life. It's a lot of people have let's call them desires. They want to see an outcome in their own life. They want to achieve something in their own life. But you either get it or you don't. And some people are either satisfied or they're not satisfied. And they're riding this emotional compass. They're trying to navigate their way through life, trying to work out whether they're happy they got the job. You know, they had the interview, they came out, they're not happy, they didn't get the job, or what have you. Moving forward to the concept of emotions and people holding emotions and the character of the person, I know that if I'm upset or angry about something, that's a totally different Aaron to the Aaron that's happy. You know what I mean? The Aaron that just won the lotto. These are two totally different people in the way they're going to react to future situations relative to that time. So the more that you dive within yourself and realize the complete range of infinite emotion and factors that can change the way that you're going to react to certain situations, you can find that you're made up of many characters. Taking any one of these characters and seeing how you react to something, then you can choose to either continue to play out the reaction or take a step back within yourself, understand that you're upset because you're half an hour late, for example, to work.
Yeah.
And you can't find a car park. The person that's upset isn't going to be thinking as clearly as someone that's normal or someone that's content with their state. So the person that's now upset and looking for that car park is got less likely chance of finding a car park to someone that's got a clear mind, is going to rationally think of where they can park their car.
Okay.
You agree with that? You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, it sounds reasonable, and on that level, you don't need to get talk about some supernatural manifestation or something like that.
No, it's completely normal.
Like The Secret, it's just how your emotional state is going to affect how well your mind is working, how well you can notice opportunities.
Yes. I just find it's still interesting. Well, I still get upset over things. You know, I'm not a complete Zen master and have complete control over my emotions. But there's times where I find myself in this rut of non-control, and it's like I know better than this. Why am I getting upset or flustered over something that I have no control over? Yet I am. Yeah. The fact that I'm aware of it means I don't give in to those reactive emotions. A lot of people now are taking on certain studies into yoga and meditation, mindfulness, to become more aware of oneself, where they're able to see themselves in a reactive state, opposed to choosing to be content with what they have, or choosing to be just happy with life, or waking up in the morning. I mean, I mentioned to you earlier, like today, I feel like I got out of bed the wrong way. Like I feel like I was in for a rough day, a rough morning, yet everything happened pretty calmly and I just had a normal day. But for some reason, I felt like I had this negative cloud over me. And it wasn't until I came here and explained it to you that it was just a normal day that I realized, why am I rushing today for some reason? Yet I made good time. It's like, you know, my mind and my spirit or soul or energy isn't in harmony for some reason. So normally, you'd meditate and try to work out, you know, what's going on in my life that I don't feel like is on level. Try to lift that energy up, which is.
But that's funny. It's funny the way you put that, because if something were going wrong in my life and it was making me emotionally affected, what I would try to deal with first wouldn't be the thing in my life, because I don't necessarily have control over that, but I do have control over my emotional state to some extent.
Yep.
Sometimes more than others. So if I can address that, like when I'm in the car park looking for a space, if I can address my own emotional state, take a few deep breaths and become calm again.
Good tool.
Yeah. And then that's going to help me address the situation, the external situation.
Yeah, just reflecting on that, I think what's been affecting me is, in my case, I just been doing too much.
Okay.
Like I had a big gym session yesterday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've got a few projects on the fly. Like, you know, I've got a lot going on.
Yeah.
And, you know I didn't sleep. I wasn't in bed early enough, or I just didn't get my full night's sleep. So I got up in the morning and I'm already rushing. You know what I mean? That's just not the way it should be. So taking this time out of your day and actively using tools like deep breathing, or even having time to meditate, or doing a session of yoga, any of these mindfulness activities is perfect for lifting your energy and awareness in how you're carrying yourself through the day. Now, the reason why I'm getting to this is because it's to understand these ideas, you try and want to make the most out of it. So to lift your energy, you're going to move through life easier. Life being, let's see, where do I want to jump from here? Levels of consciousness or the multiverse?
Okay. This is a little choose your own adventure.
It is. I'm trying to work out where do I go from here.
I'm going at once.
Okay.
That's the thing.
Multiverse.
Okay.
Okay. The multiverse it's quite a headful. It's quite a bit to chew. So the multiverse is about all opportunity, all combination, all permutations of life, time, and experience in now. Is that right? Everything's happening. Everything happening simultaneously, irrespective of future, past, all characters, self, everyone. Everyone's doing everything. Everything's happening at the same time, at all time. All possibility of experience is now. Yeah, that's heavy. You can see this. This isn't some kind of crazy interdimensional worlds. I mean, just looking at the movie Interstellar, where they went down to that planet and they were there for like an hour.
Yeah.
And in real time, it was just like time of the planets were different, and it was just you don't realize how much time you're using. It's like the perspective of the person involved has its own time, but it's not connected to everyone else in their time. Like right now, we could be in different time. We're not, because we have observers.
Right, that collapses that waveform.
Yeah, people they're watching, they're listening to the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm assuming in the future, because it's live, but that's them listening to that future time is exactly now. Like you're listening to this right now in your time, their time. Our time is now as well. So that is everything collapsed into the moment. That's time travel.
So you're saying, like, because we have a record of what's happened, what actually happened is more likely. So that's kind of like the past.
Well,
the past timeline has a record, and because people can observe that record, that kind of changes the past in a sense. That makes the past more defined.
Well, it makes the past at that point in time.
Yeah.
Like it makes it real at that time. I mean, the reason why this is important is because if that didn't exist, the past could be all possibility. It could be whatever you want it to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Which means by changing the past, you create the future. What's that saying? As an interesting, by controlling the past, you control the future.
He who controls the past controls the future.
Yes. Well, I know when I first heard it, I didn't understand it. Because like, how can you control the past if it's already happened?
Yeah. So this comes back to like 1984 in the memory hole, where Smith is sitting there in his office and is manipulating the past, or that is, he's manipulating history. So nobody is photoshopping people out of pictures that happened, things that happened years ago, inserting people who didn't used to be there, removing heroes from history and inserting other people in their place, and nobody is the wiser.
No, because in their individual reality, they're putting their attention's drawn to the past, or a point or details of the past that's going to live on in the future, in their time realities. To wrap up the multiverse, everything's possible at the same time. Put that aside. You can choose to believe anything you want about the past, or be told to believe something about the past, which you're going to continue to believe in your time-space journey continuum.
So you're saying something like we have this present moment, but the interpretation of how we got to this present moment and the interpretation of what's going to happen in the future, that's completely open. Nobody knows what's there.
Yep.
Okay.
So
But then the multiverse also means that every single present, like there are infinite presents possible.
Well, that's all that there is.
Okay.
All the time.
Because from this, like where I'm sitting right now, I can actually imagine possible futures, but it's more difficult for me to imagine a different present because what I'm observing seems to be happening right now.
It is what it is.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. With your point of view.
Yeah.
But a lot of us get confused if we're trying to choose our tomorrow. We're trying to choose what we want in the future, but we really can only do that by changing what we did yesterday, by choosing what we remember.
Okay.
So if you're one of these, if you're a person that's trapped in a lower, I say lower, but it's not lower or higher, it just is. So if you feel down about yourself, if you're just negative about certain aspects, you find yourself in a rut, you're not exactly happy with everything that's happening around you, you tend to dwell on things that are also of that frequency in the past.
Yeah.
So,
okay. And this is like state-based memory. So if you get drunk and have a really brilliant idea, you're more likely to remember that idea when you're really drunk again. If you're in a depressed state, then you're more likely to remember times in the past where you've been depressed.
Yeah, I haven't thought about it, of that example, but what's that called? Is that a thing?
State-based memory.
Ah, so simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, okay, let's say I'm a little bit self-conscious of myself. I've just gone through the holiday season and I've put on 10 kilos of weight because I've eaten everything. All of a sudden I see a slightly fatter Aaron in the mirror. And I remember being 10 years old at school, getting picked on, being overweight. And I'm in that mentality again. It's like, how did something that happened 20 years ago is now affecting my moment today?
Yeah, suddenly it becomes relevant.
It consumes me. I need to let go of that by not focusing on the fat kid when he was 10 and focusing on the slightly less fatter kid that started playing rugby league and enjoyed himself. And yeah, and because he was carrying extra weight, he could bust through the line. You know what I mean? It's like, don't be so subjective with our memories, and let's look at what it is, and let's let go of what doesn't serve you, to try and raise the energy in the moment to give you a better perspective of what's really happening.
Right. So Lao Tzu wrote, when I let go of what I am, I become who I might be. Maybe you don't need to have an identity in the way that you normally think about it. Maybe you don't need to relate to your experiences as being formative, like as something that forms you as a person. Maybe that,
Be formless.
Yeah.
Be like water.
My friend. Yeah.
Genius. He channeled it. He was an alien. There's no way somebody learned that stuff. But Bruce Lee was able to create a meditation through movement, and which completely transformed all martial arts. Break?
Yeah, let's take a break.
Back to the moment.
Welcome to the moment.
Our moment.
Yeah.
Your moment. Our past.
Yeah. Well, right now it's our present. We're beaming it out. You're going to see us looking back into the past.
Yeah, it's going to be their moment, looking at us in their moment, at our past, in the future.
Yeah, from our perspective, it's our future. But from your perspective, we're in the past.
Delivering knowledge of our moment, of our life, to change your past, to make a better future. Well, that's your choice.
Yeah, or choose to change your perspective on the past.
That's better.
To alter your future.
All frequencies. So, yeah, it's all down to how you want to see the world, your world. Make it, own it, yours. This is why people want to like better themselves. People want to lift their levels of energy, their levels of consciousness, to deliver to the moment a more switched on, alert, and aware person. It's pretty important. I should meditate more.
Yeah.
We all should. So bring in more of a mindfulness and awareness to the moment is going to let you navigate through that car park quicker, get the car spot you want.
Right.
Or you won't even need to worry about that because you weren't half an hour late in the first place. And you've been listening to your favorite tunes on the way, so you're in the best mode. And there's a car park right at the front because that's what you want, right?
You think you could change your past to that extent? I had an interesting experience where
yes, I think you can.
when Bitcoin started getting to like $600, $700, $800, I was like, oh, damn, what was I thinking? I knew this thing was going to be big, but I didn't buy any. And then I focused on it, and I'm like, hang on, what if I could just shift my reality, like just sidestep just in like a little bit, and I would be in a different reality where I actually did buy Bitcoins early. And then I realized, actually, wait, I did buy Bitcoins early. I bought, like, the first Bitcoin I bought was at $10, and the next one was at 100. So, so I actually did do that. And then I thought, what just happened here? Did I just slip into another reality?
Maybe I did too. Let me check my wallet.
Yeah. Or did I just change my emotional perspective? Like realize that I can be content with the amount I did buy. So I
well,
still don't
if you're
know.
not, buy some more right now.
Yeah, well, yeah, I am. I buy a little bit every week.
It's chipping away.
Yep.
Yeah, that story makes me think about so many situations where you do things or you don't do things, and then you think you did or you haven't. Like looking for your keys. It's like, I swear I left them in there in the spot on the corner of the bench where my keys are always. But you go to find your keys and they're not. You're like, well, I don't remember moving them. Who moved my keys? Where are my keys at?
It sounds like a good book. Who moved
Who moved my keys?
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be a good book of manifesting negative realities. But the concept of choosing your reality means if you have like a pure perspective, you're not feeling, because it's pretty better to be positive, then you can change your emotional state to being satisfied with something you did previously, and then realizing, well, I did do that. I'm happy with what I did do.
Yeah.
And then everything being nice.
So I think about, like, I think there's like several levels on which this can work. Like, what if, I mean, you can be calm in the present and change your perspective on the present. Then you can look through the past and see it in a different light, on an emotional level. But then does the mind actually have the power to move through realities?
Well,
I have no idea.
Breaking down the mind reality, that the whole complex, the complex of the human being, the mind, the spirit, and the body, the material. There's please Google this stuff because there's so much information and you won't sleep for a couple nights. The mind is electric. Thoughts are the electrical signals traveling through your mind. The reality is generated through the force of the electromagnetic interaction of your reality that's generated by your heart, which is the emotional, sensory, the emotional compass. You choose to see with your mind what you feel with your heart. That's like the navigating thing. The brain is like a computer, and it's recording everything. And you just choose to remember what you want. You choose to see what you want.
Right, because the brain takes in so much information. Like I don't know how much. It's like several gigabytes a second or something. If you could even measure it.
They've measured that?
I think they have, because like look at your vision. Your vision is it's more megapixels than the highest megapixel camera. You can't even make out a single pixel. A single pixel could be the size of an atom.
Retina display. We don't even know anymore.
Yeah.
It's like it's on par. But when I get my eyes upgraded and I don't need glasses anymore, I'm gonna ask for like Retina Plus. I want to see more. I want to see into the atoms. Show me how that structure's built.
Electron microscope retinas. Wow.
Well, I mean, most kids ask to see through walls or through clothes, but I want to see atoms.
Well, you can do that too. I think infrared goes through walls to some extent.
Not these walls. We're in a bunker.
So the thing is, the part of the information that actually reaches your consciousness is such a small fraction of all the information that you receive. So you get or all the information that your body receives actually through the senses. So the reticular activating system just hones in, breaks it down to the small parts that you think are relevant.
Because we are the infinity machine. We're never going to run out of memory. We just choose to hold as much or as little as we need for the moment, depending on the levels of consciousness we have to evaluate the perspective that we have. Because I'm assuming at this point you're aware that we can step out of our emotions and evaluate, creating whatever reality you want, manifesting.
Yeah.
Manifesting the future
so
rather than just waiting for it to turn up.
In Prometheus Rising, Robert Anton Wilson describes this experiment where you start looking around the ground for a 50-cent piece or like a 10 peso coin or something like that, and you constantly think you had it every time you're walking around, and the chances are sooner or later you'll find a 10 peso piece, and the question is, did that happen just because you were tuned into it, or did it happen because you manifested it, you made it real, you made the circumstances somehow align with your expectations? You
mean like it was there the whole time? You were just never in the mindset to notice it until then?
Yeah, well, that's one aspect of it. Like that's like focusing in your mind on the opportunity, and then the other aspect of it is bringing reality into line with your expectations, manifesting. So it could be either, or it could be both. A little column A, a little column B.
I think it's definitely both.
Yeah.
Depending on what mindset you have. Because once you learn how to manifest, you're never not manifesting. Or are you? Or are you just taking responsibility for your previous actions arriving at the moment?
I don't know. Are you talking about like karma? Like everything that I've done has a reaction, and then now they might start to catch up with me, and I'm more conscious. I can.
Or you mean like karma? I'm going to do good things, like practice mindfulness techniques, like your breathing or something, to lower the emotions, and then all of a sudden, I'm going to reap the benefits of positive karma by doing so. Yeah.
Because it's if you do that, there's.
Well, what is karma? Karma
is like I guess karma is a few things, because basically at one level it's just cause and effect. Like people say, you reap what you sow.
Yeah.
Or what if you plant pumpkins, you get pumpkins. So so on that level, yeah, if you do nasty things, then you're probably gonna hang around with nasty people. You know, people will try to get revenge at you or something like that.
But then people say that's not my fault. I never wanted this. I never manifested this reality.
Yeah, well, I think that's a kind of level of unconsciousness because
Exactly, that's exactly what it is.
and a lot of people, when they say that's not my fault, they also say it's your fault. They try to place the blame and they avoid taking any responsibility for their own situation. And I see that unconscious attitude.
That's why I think it goes hand in hand. That's why it's both, because you need to have the responsibility for your power. Like once you realize you have the power to manifest whatever you want, or just move towards that reality, then you're taking responsibility. That's the power to do good and not evil. You just make us superheroes.
I think at some level, because I have this picture. Let's see, you gave me kind of this image in my head, and I'm picturing like a man, and at his top, he has a conscious area, and it's like glowing blue, and the rest of him is just a red outline. But as he gets more conscious, and that blue area is like his area of control. It spreads through his entire body, through his entire consciousness. Maybe it even spreads outside of his body, because this image relates to the idea that when I say you actually have a different idea of what that means when you say I, because you have an idea of what is in your conscious control. I see your heart beating as a part of you, but you don't necessarily see your heart beating as a part of what you say. What you mean when you say I, because from your perspective, that's out of your control. And so if you're the less aware you are of your personal power, your own consciousness, emotions, actions, responsibilities, then the less, the smaller that I becomes, the less that me becomes, until you're just like a leaf in the wind, responding to things, a victim, a complete
Reacting.
victim. Yeah.
Reactive mode.
Yeah.
No, see, well, I heard personal power and I thought of Tony Robbins.
Sure.
And then I heard that I don't have control, but I do have control of my heart.
Yeah, to some extent.
With my ninja mindset, I can control all my limbs.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
The average person doesn't put focus on the pressure they're putting on the bottom of their foot as they're walking down the street. And it's important to be aware of everything. As you lift your level of consciousness, you realize that maybe your posture isn't as good as what you thought it was. But what you don't, maybe your feet aren't straight when you walk. I notice a lot of people walk with their feet out or their feet in. And although it's not a big deal, it doesn't matter. But these people might have knee pain.
Later on in life, or
later that week. I've been doing a lot of walking and my knee hurts. I need to focus on how I'm stepping. I need to look at maybe my right foot is getting lazy or something. Like, I'm aware of this. I don't need to wait for a year and then go see a doctor and tell me that my knee's stuffed.
right.
Where I can be aware of it and fix myself now. There's no reason why people need to let things go so long if they're aware. I don't need to manifest that reality. I can take responsibility of my leg function now and not worry about it.
Yeah.
So
it's like this proactive mentality. And I think a lot of people, myself included, like something comes up, some problem comes up, and I'm like, don't worry about it, it'll take care of itself. Or I know it's going to be a problem, but I still try to ignore it. and then, a stitch in time saves nine, or the longer you wait, the more of a problem it's going to be.
Completely. Like, I put my glasses down somewhere silly, and I already know someone's going to step on them. Why were they on the floor?
Yeah.
It's like, take responsibility and put them in their case in my bag, on the shelf, or whatever. Like so, and then all of a sudden that reality has no chance of manifesting. That's a level of responsibility. So we talk a lot about consciousness and trying to lift that to create a better, remove a worse, manifest a more positive reality.
Yeah, break the karmic cycle and...
Yeah, well, the karmic cycle. Yeah, I just, once you realize that karma is just the definition of life record, it's just a record of whatever you do. I think it's something like that. It's like, I see karma as like a big school report. We're just in a big classroom called Earth, and we're trying to get through with an A+.
Okay.
So something like that. I mean, you know, I think everyone should try and improve their situation. No one's happy with being a worse version of themselves. So taking that on board, we all have this level of energy, this level of conscious power, this personal power that everyone talks about, to take responsibility of your environment, actions, and whatever have you. The human being has a certain range of conscious power that we can exert upon our third dimensional reality. I haven't seen the movie Lucy yet, but I want to check it out because have you seen the trailer?
It's the one where the woman uses 100% of a brain, and based on the premise that people actually use 10% or 10% of the potential, depending how you phrase it.
The average person, I think, uses, for what I gather, I mean, because I'm only regurgitating information I find, 8 to 10%. But I mean, that's before calcification of pineal gland, fluoride in the water.
Yeah, but I think the idea of, like, because it gets thrown around a lot, and if you actually only use 10% of your brain, like imagine if your brain was 10% of its current size, you would probably be not quite a vegetable, but we probably wouldn't be having this conversation right now. Let's put it that way.
So does that mean I'm using 8 or 10?
What it means is I think the truer phrase is actually we use 10% of the potential of our brains, because if you look at, like, say Einstein's brain, I think they keep it in a jar somewhere, and they can see that it has more ridges and more mass than like just about everybody's brain.
Must have been all that coconut oil.
I don't know. His diet probably had something to do with it. I don't know if Einstein ever lived in the tropics.
I've never seen anything documented on Einstein's diet. But it'd be interesting to know. I mean, the little that I know about Einstein is he did a lot of like personal activity to relax. He used to play his violin a lot. He said a lot of his ideas actually came to him, a lot of his solutions, in getting out of the lab and going to play his violin.
Yeah.
So disconnecting, I think, almost letting go of the like not focusing on the issue and relaxing is I think quite important. That's what I gather from that.
Yeah. But
so 10% of the potential of our mind.
I think that's but it's probably not. I mean, it's probably not even that. It's probably like, really, if you think about it, like if I turned my brain potential or my current potential, if I multiplied it by 10, would I be Einstein or Feynman? I don't know if I'd be at that level. I don't know if I'd quite make it.
Very modest of you to say. But okay, let's consider the effect of what I believe, because I believe everything and nothing at the same time.
Okay.
So I like playing with ideas.
Yeah.
Let's say that it's got nothing to do with the brain.
Okay.
Like your capacity of anything has nothing to do with the physical brain and more to do with some kind of emotional brain.
Okay.
Like
you mean like a morphic field, or what do you mean?
Well, let's go for like a third dimensional example would be, let's grab a really good soccer player and compare his leg to my leg.
Okay.
Like let's say the same length, you know what I mean? They weigh about the same.
Yep.
Muscle density, I don't know, maybe he's a little more refined, but a leg's a leg. It's just how you use it. I'm saying a physical brain and another physical brain. They might be about the same size, weight, mass, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's how does the brain actually interact with itself?
Yeah.
Is like some other energy movements in the mind somehow.
Right. So like the connections within the brain, the physical connections, the synapses between
Yes.
neurons.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's say that. But there's been a lot of talk that maybe all the knowledge of the person isn't stored in the brain. And the morphic field idea that you mentioned, that we are us because our brain records the most amount of information and knowledge based on the previous us, which makes us us. That timeline of...
Or our brain receives the knowledge from them and transmits knowledge into the morphic field. Our brain is like this two-way radio communicating with some sort of energy field that surrounds us or that resonates through the universe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Using that idea and calling the morphic field a hive mind, because that morphic field is a field of everyone put together. So using the hive mind idea, maybe physically we'd never know if we're using more than 10% of our mind, but maybe we need to measure the transfer of knowledge between, or the connection between the fields of the morphic field, or the connection to the hive mind that brings more knowledge upon us. Something like that?
Okay, let's run with it. Okay, yeah, because if we're assuming that there is such a thing as like a human hive mind or an earth hive mind, if we were only using a small percentage of our access to that, and we have the potential to use more, in that case we would be, I don't even know what kind of thing we would be.
Yeah,
if
unimaginable.
If one of us could access the entire width and breadth of human knowledge.
Of the channel.
Yeah. Tune into that channel.
Yeah, and absorb more. So let's say that ability to tune in to that channel of being human is what lifts brain capacity. Creative ideas, knowledge, that's not created in our mind. That's pulled from some other network.
Yeah, and that's what some people say, like when they're in a flow state where, like, say that they're doing something like you were talking about Van Gogh earlier, and is like painting this crazy picture, just like intense focus, is hyper focused, high state of performance, and he might not even realize what he's doing, and later when he looks back at it, he might say, I didn't paint that, the paint moved through me, or the artwork moved through me.
I became the artwork.
Yeah, I'm just a conduit for this this platonic form, this archetype, this floating idea which comes to earth through me. I'm like the bridge between heaven and earth.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
How did you come up with that?
That's what some people say when they're in a flow state. They say it happens through me.
It's looking at his pictures, was that they're quite large. And if you're within an arm length of painting, there's no way he could have seen the bigger picture. So he was just producing.
I don't know if I've seen one of Van Gogh's like that, but there are plenty of like Dali's like that where it's like I think there's one where it's a bunch of individual squares, but when you zoom out, it's actually Abraham Lincoln.
I haven't seen that one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty a famous one.
Yeah.
Got to check it out. I got to get in more art. There's got to be. Mexico's got so many art museums.
Yeah.
We should go for a road trip.
So we're running out of time. We haven't even mentioned density yet.
I can wrap that up in a minute. Densities. Okay.
We might have to go for a bit longer.
So that idea of the flow state, of pulling this information from this like invisible network of all human potential, pulling it to one fine point in the mind that creates this movement of material. Through you become the vehicle of creativity. Let's say that transfer of knowledge between human network to human being is consciousness. is having a higher level of consciousness in the moment, becoming more pure to yourself in the moment, and creating that level of nothingness that allows the opportunity for everything to enter you at that point. That skill of I guess downloading information into you. If we're trying to create a better connection by increasing consciousness, this I guess I'll jump into densities.
Okay.
Densities of being. Densities is kind of, the way I see it, it's kind of like a way of measuring the spirit being, like the spirit that you are, that personal power that you know, that I know, I'm Aaron, I am this Aaron. The density that I'm operating in is this third dimensional life form, this human Aaron machine.
Like densities have some kind of relation to dimensions when you're describing.
Well, I like to think they're not.
Okay.
I think they're two simultaneous things that happen at the same time. Like actually, you know what? I think I'm actually higher than third dimensional or third density. I'm in a third dimensional world.
Yeah.
Let's just say we're in 3D.
Okay.
We'll leave it at that.
Okay.
But in the mind, like you know, dream states, lucid dreaming, the daydreaming, the ability to pull creative, that I think is a totally different world of spirit.
Okay.
Energy.
Okay. Because that's Okay.
So
it's like a very high level brain function, the ability to imagine. But can we take it back to like first density? What is first density?
Okay, using what he says, let's assume that we are all, the fact that we're human, and you need a certain amount of personal power, a certain amount of consciousness, energy, spiritual power to control this vehicle, this machine. But within the human range, the humans have such a big range of consciousness.
Yeah.
Like there's so many unconscious humans, which could be base level third density.
Okay.
Being that can go all the way through to what Ra describes as Jesus Christ being the sixth density.
Okay, but what about something like, say, a bear or a lion? Would they be like first and second density?
Well,
or would they?
For what I've gathered, most animals and plants are second density, as in they. Okay, a good example, a human that they describe to be third density is someone that's purely in the experience and rolling through, completely reactive, a lower level of awareness of self, and is just moving through time with their life. Very reactive mode.
Showed.
Yes. Yeah. Well put. A fourth density person would be someone that's able to express higher levels of empathy, towards their surrounding, a higher level of responsibility. I think this is what they explain as you're lifting your level of consciousness, we're moving towards, we're becoming a higher density being. But because humans can house such a big range of density, then there could be, it's possible to have a higher level density person inside a human machine, a vessel, partaking in this third dimensional reality. Ra mentioned that the dolphins and whales are like higher fifth dimensional beings, but I'm assuming in dolphins and whales they have a higher level of consciousness again. But I guess to bring it to a simple density being, plants, I think was the example that he used. And the plant is a second density being where there's like very minimal interaction with what a plant does. A plant grows and strives towards reaching light. No different than what all beings try and do. And in the case of human beings, we are also trying to reach higher levels of light being knowledge or consciousness or awareness. But I can imagine being a plant and it'd be quite a dark experience where once you see light, that's what you'd strive for. I can see life as a plant being like lost in a tunnel and seeing that light at the end of the tunnel. And I mean, this is just my interpretation of life as a plant, but you would be constantly...
I think you're looking out there at them, I think they're getting pissed off. They don't like how you're misrepresenting them.
Well, they're definitely hearing what I'm saying. No, I don't know if they're that upset.
Okay.
There's plenty of lights. They're running. They're growing.
They probably don't care that much, you're right.
So that's my understanding of densities. That there is such a big range of light density.
So we have something like a tree, second density, a regular reactive human, third density.
But also like animals that react. Could be between like a high second and a low third. I mean, I'm just making this range up because there's not much information on densities.
So maybe we can do some more research and...
Well, I'm hoping more information comes out about this stuff because there's a few videos on YouTube that talk about densities. I only know the very little from the raw material, and trying to put together that in line with just levels of consciousness and seeing how people are capable of reaching God mode type levels of awareness. And you read through the scriptures, Bible, in the yoga texts, you mentioned true sight, which is like superpowers, superhuman abilities.
Yeah, siddhis.
Yes.
Call them perfections. Yeah.
And then we see humans like react like animals.
Yeah.
It's like we're capable of so much.
Yeah.
Like
So let's see. We're I'm still trying to get an idea of the density. So second density, a plant. Third density, a reactive human. A fourth density would be a self-actualized human, like deciding who he or she wants to be, deciding what they want out of life, deciding how they're going to treat people, deciding their own moral code, something like that.
Perfect. Yep.
Sixth dimension, you said, would be like Jesus Christ, Krishna, Buddha.
Density. Yeah, no. Well,
sixth density.
Well, fifth they mention like dolphins and whales. They have more of like a natural flow, natural connection.
Okay. So it's like, I don't know. It's like a Taoist thing. They go with the flow. They.
Pure or above. Yeah. Above that, I mean above.
But I would say there's kind of a contradiction because the plants go with the flow as well. So the whales and dolphins, they have the complexity of a human, but they also have a connection with nature. Is that the kind of thing you mean?
Well, yeah. It's like it's not about becoming a higher density or a lower density. It's just about becoming more of whatever you are at that point.
Right.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
All
right.
Other than Jesus Christ.
We found out that we aren't sure about anything much.
And I said I'll deliver the information I've come across on densities, but I mean, I'm assuming that if Jesus was sixth density and he was able to return to this third dimensional material reality, the power of a being at that level was able to manipulate the material around him.
Right. Okay.
So I'm assuming we're moving up. We're trying to move up. We're trying to move closer to that.
Okay.
Which moves into realms of Christ consciousness. Which there you have it.
When you say that, like that kind of thing where where Jesus can walk on water or change the nature of matter apparently to feed thousands of people or something like that. It makes me think of these things about lucid dreams that I've been watching, like on YouTube. There's this guy called Reese Jones, and he describes the 5 layers of lucid dreams, where layer 0 is where people are starting to talk about dreams or lucid dreams within your dream, but you don't actually question whether you're in a dream, and it goes all the way up to layer 4, and layer 4 where you have complete control. You can manifest things in the dream. You can, like, say, I think my friend Aaron's going to be behind this door, and you open the door, and there you are.
Manipulating dreams is definitely the first step in being able to manipulate this reality. But to even venture down that path, you need to be able to be aware of the ability to do so. I'll be interested in these tools because, can you imagine building superpowers in your dreams and then pulling them back to reality? I've heard this is being referred to as the waking dream, as being the the waking dream, or
life is but a dream.
Oh, okay, that was a childhood song. Perfect. This whole time.
Yeah, hidden in plain sight.
All right. Beautiful. Let's wrap it up. Stay dense. Oh, wait. That's not right. Stay dense? No, that's not right. Stay density. Stay conscious, my friends.
Cool. Stay vigilant. All right, my name's Kurt Robinson.
Aaron Battle.
Check us on Twitter @TroubleBubble.
@BattleAZ.
Press like, press comment, press subscribe on YouTube and iTunes. Check out our website, theparadiseparadox.com, and like us on Facebook too. And
peace.
Stay cool.